Oh man, I should actually pull up some background music. Alright, get this out of here. Yeah, assuming we want a little bit of background tracking. Come on. Let's load. Okay. Welcome everyone to the RSL Season 9 tier list. I want to do this because while not much has changed, I do want to talk about, how each character performed last season, and obviously for the new people, use this as a sort of guide as to how each character, you know, how you want to play each character, or which characters you want to pick up, I guess is the better thing. That's not what I want to pull up. This is what I want to pull up. Before we get into the actual tier making thing, I want to just quickly talk about the different classes or different stats in this game. So the important ones are character class. This dictates what they are most likely to do. Speed characters will do curve pitches and slap hits a lot. Balance does a mix of everything. Technique is more likely to do star pitches and star swings, and power hitters are most likely to charge and do fastballs. Typically, speed and technique characters are better pitchers, while balanced and power are better hitters. Then each character has a different ability. These, I only go over the most important ones, which are the range dives or catches, which makes them much better infielders, and super jump, which allows them to be better buddy jumpers. And then for the stats, you have your pitching ones, how much it curves, how fast the curve is, how fast the fastball is, how much stamina they have before they are forced to swap off, the contact sizes, which is how likely they are to get the sweet spot of a hit, their power, their trajectory. Typically, high trajectory is the best, low is the worst. Bunting, which is a meaningless stat. Outfield throw speed, how fast they can throw. Just throw the ball. Fielding, how likely they are to bobble. And of course, speed, which is just how fast they are. And there's some captain star pitches and stuff we'll discuss later. But that was just a quick rundown of everything. If you don't, again, if you have any questions, do let me know. But I just want to hop straight into this tier list. So we're going to start off with Mario. Mario technically got a little bit of a nerf in between this season and last. He lost light blue as a color, due to the downsizing of each of the color pie. And I don't think that hurts him too much. It does mean he works less well with Funky Kong and Ice Bro, which are the two big ones. But really, that's every character he realistically wanted to be paired with. That being said, Mario himself as a character, he needs many pieces to be... he needs many pieces to actually be good. You need to set him up with a decent amount of... something I forgot to mention in the last video, so hopefully you did listen to me and you're watching this one now, is when a character has chemistry with the people that are currently on base, the more people with chemistry they have on base, it creates like a chain. And the bigger that chain is, the better power the character has. So if you have, for Mario, if he has like a Yoshi into a Luigi into a like Daisy, he would basically get a 50% charge hit boost. It's the only way to actually get that percentile boost now that the star power itself is gone. So, Carrie, can you not? Sorry, my dog's trying to push food into her water bowl. Alright. But yeah, he really needs that chain. Like, he can do some stuff by himself, but for the most part, if you want to make the most out of Mario, you need to really build around him. He's definitely not independent. Now, is he still good? His pitching is okay. His batting's his best part, and it's just pretty solid. Nothing to write home about. His pitching is definitely the worst aspect of him, and it really sucks because as a captain, your pitching is much more important. With the exception of one captain, we'll get to him later, but yeah. So if you're Mario, I'm gonna leave him here. He's solid. You can definitely build around him and get value out of him, but you need to have a really good pitching lineup behind him, or you're not gonna have stuff happen. And in the same viewpoint, as I should toss the all colors down here so I don't have to worry about them anymore for the rest of this thing. Okay. Is Luigi. Now, Luigi is just okay with help. He is probably, by my estimation, the worst captain in this game. I think he probably is. His batting is okay. He every once in a while he can still do good stuff. He's not like a bad character, but you pick him more so for his pitching, and even his pitching isn't that great. Tornado Ball, while an amazing star pitch, which more often than not either results in a strike or a really bad hit that gets an out, it relies on a lot of star power and means that he gets off of the mound very fast. And when he's off the mound, all he really is a batting body, and his batting skills are just okay. He needs a lot of help. Even with that, he doesn't really do too much with it. If I am picking up Luigi to build around him, I would be very careful. Now, mind you, the actual best thing about Luigi is that he can immediately be slotted into a Yoshi team, and Yoshis are very good. Each of the Yoshis, we'll get to them, each of the Yoshis, with the exception of like one, is a high tier character that you want to bring onto your team. So immediately having chemistry with the Yoshis does help both Luigi and Mario out. Now, Peach, again, with the buffs actually was better. I think she's very similar to Mario. Her best thing, though, is she is an amazing pitcher. She can pitch circles around many players, and by far that is her best trait. Her batting leaves a lot to be desired, but, you know, it's one of those things very similar to Mario, where you choose one for their batting, one for their pitching. They can't do everything, but what they can do is good enough that you can justify picking them up and making them your captain. Plus, she has access to the Toads, who are all very solid batters. Now, of course, with Mario and Peach, they're actually both taken. Ryan has already picked up Mario, and Akira has already kept... Ryan kept Mario, Akira kept Peach, so they're already off the table, but still. They are good captains that you can absolutely build your team around. But you do need to put a lot more investment in them as opposed to a character like Daisy, who is, shocker, also a kept character, who she has an amazing bat, and she has a volatile pitch. So she has the flower balls. The flower ball is an immediate pop fly, which sounds really good, and it is, but it has one really big weakness. The fielder will 100% of the time get tricked by any gambit. What's a gambit? I don't think I explained this last one, so I'll explain what gambit is. Basically, when an item is thrown out and the player goes to buddy catch it, which is basically they tackle into it, if they choose to tackle the item, sometimes they will miss the ball and the ball will land, being fair. And this can save pop flies. Now, we see it a lot of time with this one, because if you get any item that's not Boo, it will cause the gambit, which means Daisy has a lot of volatility with hers. Very good if there's no items, and very good if the item is a Boo, but in any other circumstance, it is a bad star pitch that will always result in at least a person going to the next base. Now, sometimes it can be, they'll call like an infield fly and then still get the out regardless, even if a item play was made, but for the most part, it is a weird pitch. Her pitching besides that is pretty solid too, so it's not like she's a bad pitcher without it. And like I said, her bat is amazing. One of the best captain bats in the game. You know, outside of, you know, the obvious powerhouses, she's definitely in the top echelon of that. And while I would normally say Daisy, very good captain pickup, unfortunately, Alyssa has already kept Daisy. So if you're looking to pick up Daisy, you'll have to look elsewhere. And then we get to Yoshi, who Green Yoshi is basically the honestly, do I want to move everyone down? No, because I can. These two I think are in the same tier. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Green Yoshi is a very good character. Basically, he can do everything. He has solid pitching. His star pitch is pretty weak, but his actual regular pitching is very strong. And most of the time can get strikeouts or, you know, cause really bad hits. He's not a liability to have on the mound. And at bat, sometimes he'll go for home runs, but for the most part, Green Yoshi will just get a single, advance everyone forward one, and that is one of the best traits to have. It's why I think, and we'll get to the dry bones in a bit, it's why I think every dry bone is also an A tier character, because they will just advance you by one and sometimes get a score. But most of the time they are just consistently getting you one base ahead. And in fact, just to save time, since we'll talk about them, yeah, all the dry bones, very good. Just single hitters, advance a runner, and Ancient Bones is even better because he gets Killer Ball. He's a really good pitcher. Birdo. Ooh. Birdo, again, is weird. They are a good batter, and their star pitch is very good, but they, for whatever reason, don't really like to utilize it well. And it has caused a lot of GMs frustration who use Birdo. But at the end of the day, Birdo is still a character with a pretty good bat. A little less, I would say the difference between her and Daisy is Birdo has more power, but Daisy is more consistent. And the infielding, oh yeah, they both have good infielding. These two, Daisy has a range dive, a super dive, which means they can catch the ball from farther away. Tongue grab is a range catch, which again, very good in the infield. Suction catch from Birdo, again, amazing infielder. A lot of pitchers that really work well in the infield. I still gotta put them in amazing, because if they get any bit of setup, that's the other thing we've been seeing with Birdo. Birdo kind of just goes on with no one behind them, and then just lacks a little bit of the power to get it over. I think if you put Birdo on a team and build around them with at least like one or two members, I think they would be a top dog in the league. Same with Wario. His pitching is decent. The best thing about his pitching is that he stays on forever. Some people think it's really bad. I think it's amazing the fact that you give your outfield more chances to make mistakes. And plus, he's an amazing bat. Oh my god, you put Wario, star or not, you give Wario one chance to hit the ball out of the park and he'll most of the time do it. Of course he has his off days. Everyone in this league has their off days, but honestly, really, really good captain that would go with. Waluigi. I think Waluigi, the only reason I'm not going to put him higher, I'm going to put him with that Mario and Peach core down there, is just the fact that if Waluigi charges, most of the time he won't. Most of the time he'll go for a slap hit. If he charges, it is bad. Rarely does he ever have a good charge hit because his contact size is so abysmal that when he, or his power is so abysmal that when he goes for it, it's just awful. And of course, we have to talk about his star pitch, or his star swing, which is actually just a gamble. If he hits it, there's a 50-50 chance that he is either out or gives up a double play, or he makes it around the bases. It is such a volatile star swing that it's hard to put him in like in that A tier, you know, that needs a piece to be amazing, because he's just so luck dependent that I kind of got to put him in the needs many pieces because he needs consistency around him, and then his volatility can be a wild card. Because outside of that, if he's just if you're just relying on his luck to win you games, as we've seen with some iterations of like the Misfits, we'll see how poorly that can be when luck does not favor you for a day. Which of course didn't happen very often for Ryan, but you know, when it doesn't, you really feel it. Oh, and now we start off with the first does everything Bowser. Yeah, his worst place to be is outfield. Yeah, I mean, he's a crazy batter, has the most power of any batter in this game. His pitches are amazing. His star pitch is an automatic strike. His star swing is really bad. It's normally an out for him. But outside of that, like, if you want... Which, again, Bowser is off the market because Andy picked him up, but... I mean, if you wanted a player that can do pitching and batting, like, he kind of fills both of those roles at once, while having the chemistry with some of the strongest characters in the game. Hammer Bros, the Koopas, the Dry Bones, the Magic Koopas, like really any character in the game that you would consider like a pretty solid character, he has synergy with. Now we go into Junior. We're gonna put Junior here with the needs many pieces because he can do good stuff. He has a good star swing, a good star pitch. His pitching is pretty solid overall. His batting is okay. That's kind of the thing. He's just an all-around okay character. With pieces, he can be really good. Alright, dogs. Apologies for this. Alright. But, characters like, you know, Bowser Jr., he's okay. But the reason I am putting him above, like, a Waluigi is that he is much more consistently doing something. Luigi is he's almost a complete liability at bat, whereas Junior is not. Junior will more than likely get on base. He's much more consistent than Waluigi. So while I think he's not like a character that's going to blow you away, he's a decent enough captain. And the biggest thing is that he has synergy with some great players. I think the synergies is really what boosts Bowser Jr. to be that good character, or to be that like B tier character that I think he is. Then we get Donkey Kong, S tier. Yeah, if you want Bowser, but with monkeys instead of Koopas, as DK. His star swing's a automatic ground ball, which sometimes can be saved by an items, but most of the time it's just an easy out. Gray hitter. Yeah, I mean, literally the only thing... he's basically just Bowser, but with the Kongs. That's it. Not much to talk about. Very good. If you want a captain that does it all, go for this guy. Diddy Kong. He's very similar. He's basically just the Bowser Jr., but for Kongs, except he is a little more consistent at... he's a slightly better pitcher, but a slightly worse hitter. And that's really the difference. Everything I said about Junior can be just replayed for Diddy Kong. Just very similar. Purple Toad. I'll put Purple Toad here. He is a... We'll put him... No, we'll put him here. His pitching is... Actually, his pitching was very good. I thought his pitching was bad because I'm like, oh, his pitching score was, like, low. That's just because he got taken off as starter pitcher. In exchange for someone who, well, albeit was a much better pitcher than him, but he did lose his starting pitcher job. He is a pretty solid pitcher. He can do well, and his bat's pretty okay. The reason he's up here is because, like with the Dry Bones, he can consistently get on base. And that is really nice. In fact, much like the Dry Bones, I'm going to have to throw the Toads up here. You know, I'm going to have to throw red and green up here. We haven't seen a lot of blue and yellow, so I'm going to put them a little worse. But they all... I guess it's raining now. They all kind of do the same thing. They're all just going to consistently get on base, and just going to enjoy it. Goomba. He is, again, consistently will get you on base. He has Daisy's Star Pitch and Star Swing, so he is very good at bat. And his pitching is okay. Again, with these, same with Wario, very good stamina. That's really what makes him, in my opinion, a pretty decent pitcher. Gives you a lot more mistakes at bat. But even besides that, he is a pretty decent pitcher. But he's not gonna hit it out of the park every time. He'll rarely do that, if ever. But if you need someone, a captain to consistently get you on base, Goomba is very good for that, as well as he has pretty decent synergies, especially outfield synergies. And like I said earlier, you can do him and Wario, do a swap of like Paragoomba in the center. You could definitely figure out a way to get Goomba in the outfield. It's much easier than a character like Luigi, which that is a much harder character to get within your outfield. Now we talk about Petey. Now, Petey is very different from these two. Whereas those two, I would have to say, like, oh, they are... those two characters are good hitters and good pitchers. Petey's the opposite. In fact, Petey's even more so the opposite with this kind of, like, half buff, half nerve in him having 0 stamina. It means that if you start... Let's say Petey's your starting pitcher, he will immediately swap off. Or if he comes later in the game, he will do the animation that he, comes onto the field and then immediately leaves. Just no pitching from Petey whatsoever. So why do I put him that he does everything? Well, one, he's an amazing bat. As you can imagine, one of the best hitters in the league, kind of makes you, a high tier. But the real reason why Petey is such a powerhouse has to do with his ability, Piranha Catch. Piranha Catch is basically a hybrid between a dive and a range catch. Because the problem with the dives is that they are faster, more recovery time, and sends you in a direction which is normally very good. But it normally loses out on range, and the Magic Grabs, their weakness is while they have good range, it takes them a little bit to get the ball into their hands to count as a catch. So if you get hit by an item, it sends the ball flying, and all of a sudden, you are in a very bad spot. Petey combines the both. He has the range of a Magic Grab with the immediate catch and distance of a dive, or the distance after catch of a dive. And on top of that, because of his insane throw speed, you throw him on shortstop and he will demolish entire teams. In fact, the most oppressive team we've seen included Petey on shortstop, Birdo on second, and Purple Yoshi, who we'll get to in a second, on as pitcher. And that team, the Beanballs, lost one game in the main season. They did go out in tournaments, as Purple Yoshi had a very bad game. Same with, actually, Petey. They both had really bad games, but still. Petey is a defensive powerhouse, amazing captain, If you pick him up, though, you have to be wary. Your pitching is going to take a big hit because most people's pitching comes from their captains. You have to look elsewhere. And depending on who's available in the draft when you pick up PD, you might not like what you have to pair him with. But even with all that said, if you pick up PD, I am not going to say that's a bad decision, but do know what you're getting yourself into. Now we got King Boo. Great power hitter, great, pretty solid pitcher. His pitching's not the greatest, but his hitting is so good. He is kind of a feast or famine character like K-Rool, but to a little less of a degree, where if he lands the hit, it's going to go flying. If he doesn't get the sweet spot, it's not going to go as far, but still, King Boo, great captain. Synergies with the Dry Bones, with King K-Rool, with Wiggler, with PD, I believe he also has synergy with. And of course, Boo means he's never really at a loss for good characters to team up with. And because of the colors, he can also move into a Critter lineup, he can move into a Bowser lineup. Like, there's so many options that you can actually do with King Boo. Very versatile, very good. King Boo is he's never been a player that makes any team worse. He is always going to go on there, do at least at some point in the game he will hit a home run. It is very rare that he doesn't. And the pitching is also just pretty good. His weaknesses is that he's slow, he's not a very good infielder or outfielder. So you really want him to not transition to those spaces, but he is the first character we're talking about so far that can ignore like the POWs and the bongo drums, and he ignores the ice physics of Ice Gardens. So still, lots of good things to say about King Boo in his like defensive capabilities, but you bring him on because you want him pitching and you want him batting. His star pitch is just not strong as these two, and his batting's not strong as these two, so that's why he's doesn't join them in the does everything tier. But as he wants at least one person on base before he can really start demolishing a team. Red Koopa, again, amazing. I'm really putting a lot of people in amazing, but I mean, he is a great hitter, great batter. He will knock it out of the park a lot of the time. His pitching is pretty solid. He's got Killer Ball, so for an immediate strike, and Fire Swing, so he can get a very far out hit. He is just a very, very solid player on a team. He's fast too, so he's not a weakness in outfield. He has nothing for infield, so his infield is very weak, but he honestly does a lot. God, because of how I named everything, I honestly am thinking if I want to put him up. He has really good chemistries too. Honestly, I kind of have to. You know what? He's a player I kind of have to. Do I put him up? Oh, I'm also going to put King Boo up there. They kind of do everything that you want them to. They fill enough slots on your team that if these are your captains, like, you get so many options as to how you can build them. It's really good. Yeah, I gotta put them up there. Ice Bro / Fire Bro. He is also a very good player. He's gonna hit it out of the park a lot of times. He's very good at the infield. His pitching is not that good, and that's why I'm gonna put him here. His pitching is kind of a letdown. And the pitching really is what can make or break a character, unless you honestly, the only reason PD's up there with terrible pitching is because his shortstop, his infield game is that good that he could be just the worst pitcher in the game, and I would still probably put him in the S tier because that piranha catch is too good. Alright, coming back down, actually, to these lower tiers. Magikoopa, he is okay. And the only reason he's okay is because Magikoopas will always come onto pitch after after the captains are done. That's the really nice thing about them. They are always first in line. So Captain Sass doesn't really help with that. And the star pitches that he gets are, while they are good, while they are very good, they aren't... I don't think he's like the best pitcher in the game. They do a lot of changeups. Changeups are not very good. And of course, they have very low stamina. So really what makes the Magikoopas go between the B tier and the C tier is how good is their hitting. And blue is not that good. Same with, honestly, same with red, same with green. The only Magikoopa that is consistently a good hitter is yellow. No idea why, but yellow Magikoopa is actually very solid. And he kind of does everything, but not to the extent of, you know, the ones in the tiers above him. But he's an okay pitcher that can bat pretty consistently and has good infield. They are good infielders, which makes me wonder if I want to boost them. It's like, I will, okay, hold on. I will give them this. I think Kamek is the same level as like a Waluigi, a Peach, or Mario in terms of their potential. I think these two Magikoopas are the same as Luigi, where they have one aspect that is really good and the rest is okay. And Yellow Magikoopa is actually pretty solid. Just all around a good Magikoopa. Okay, let's talk about Shy Guys. Shy Guys are basically the ultimate color pie. They let you combine two colors with one very simple character. If you want to combine pink and red, you pick up red. Purple and black, you pick up gray. Blue, light blue, blue, you know, etc. So how do they perform actually in-game? By themselves, they perform really well. I think if you put too many Shy Guys on a team, that's an issue. But if you pick up one Shy Guy, they're going to do solid. They won't be your best player on the team, but they are going to do a lot of work. So ultimately it comes down to how good is each color combination to combine with. And when we look at black and purple, that lets you combine Bowser teams with either Wario or the Toads. Or sorry, not Wario. With realistically, it's just the Toads. And technically, if you combine with Waluigi, so it lets you do Waluigi or the Toads. It's not that great, but because he has a bunch of star pitches and star power that he can use, which they are very good, he's actually going to get moved up. A very solid Shy Guy. As for red, there are so many options you can do when you combine pink and red that you can go into. It opens up the Kongs, basically. That's the big thing. It opens up either critters with the Kongs, Yoshi with the Kongs. It technically opens up Waluigi with those options as well, but you know, it's Waluigi. Bowser can be with the Kongs or the Yoshis, and there's so many mismatches you can do because pink and red is a very weird color that you only see in Koopa. And that's another reason why Koopa is very good. Those two colors you can do a lot with. So, again, red's going to go up here. Blue and light blue, there's not too many cross-contaminations that you'd want. It really comes down to Toad and Bowser's. It's still solid enough that I'll put it up here, but blue is not... You know, it's kind of weird colors. Green and light green are bad. Light green is just not a color. And it really means what? You're combining... Because most of the greens can combine with each other and have access to everything, so... Yeah, the only thing you can do is you can get Petey. Petey is like the only thing you can do, and even then, you can technically just do a green to connect like a baby or something Yoshi, Birdo, and Petey. And of course, that's a lot, and there is some anti-synergy in there. So, still a Shy Guy is probably best. A Shy Guy into Petey and a green, light green me somewhere, but it's not a great. It's definitely the worst of the colors. And finally, yellow and orange. The only oranges you can get are Petey, Daisy, Pianta, and Yoshi. And yellows are, again, Yoshi, Shy Guy, Wiggler, and Gold Koopa. And Toad and Wario, but for the most part, they already have the combinations with each other. There are some fun ideas you could do, but color-wise, I'm going to have to put them down. Okay, final two captains. Are actually much closer than I thought I'd be once I finish with this. Surprised. Oh yeah, okay. Blooper. Now, Blooper got the light green, which does nothing. He has a lot of synergy with the babies, which they aren't amazing, but it does mean that you can use him as a substitute for a Yoshi if you need to. Really, and some of the babies are good, but really, Blooper, you bring him onto a team because he has really good pitching. His pitching is very solid. It's kind of like the Peach. His bat's not that good, and his synergies are kind of whatever. Yeah, I'll have to put him. He's basically the same as Peach, you know. Except Peach has better synergies. He has a better bat. And I think those are pretty equal when you're looking at pitchers. And finally, we have K-Rool. K-Rool, very solid. He is a pretty decent pitcher. Amazing bat. But the problem is he lacks consistency. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Slap the star on K-Rool and he becomes a big threat. Dogs again. Alright. Slap the star on K-Rool and he becomes a really big threat. Higher contact sizes means he's hitting more hits out of the park, and we actually had to reduce the amount of contact size you got a character from the star because of K-Rool, because he became oppressive with good contact size. So, K-Rool very good. The only reason he's not up here is his synergies are terrible. You get green Miis and black Miis. You get green and black Miis and the critters. And while the critters are good, like, you need more than that. And I believe he has King Boo, and he has one other. I forgot what the other synergy is, but he does have King Boo as well. But the odds that you're going to get K-Rool and King Boo, I mean, that's pretty low. Oh boy, and now that we're done with captains, we gotta talk about non-captains. And the first and one of only 5 non-captains to be picked up in the keeps, Red Yoshi. Red Yoshi. I'm gonna put him in amazing. Now, for the rest of the characters, they don't need pitching to be a good stat. They can. It's still a boon for them. But it's not as important as the captains, where the captains had to be at least solid pitchers or they would go down. He is a bat and kind of nothing else, but he is an extraordinary bat. He does have some fielding. He's got some speed on him too. His tongue grab means that he can actually play shorter second field, but because his fielding is somewhat low, he's not as consistent as like a normal infielder you would hope, but he can absolutely play that role. And like I said, his bat is great. There's a reason he ended second in the season. Second place of every character in the season last season, in season 7. Wow, I said that word a lot. Can you tell I'm running out of water? Yes. Oh. I'm drowning and all I got is Baja Blast from Taco Bell. Oh my god, wait, this is the freezy one, so it tastes like cough syrup now. Oh, disgusting. Okay. But yeah. He is amazing. You're never going to regret picking him up onto a team. What'd I do? You get back there. You're never going to regret taking Red Yoshi onto your team. Unfortunately, you can't pick up Red Yoshi because Jacob kept him. And yeah, I mean, if you're going to have a player that breaks 1100 on your team, you might as well keep them. So, amazing Red Yoshi. Yellow Yoshi is going to also be amazing this season. They are built now like a Dry Bones, and they play very similar to it. And from the testing, I mean, they are just like a Dry Bones. Every once in a while, they'll get a home run, but for the most part, just consistent, gets on base, and keeps the game going. And again, can be played in shortstop, infield, and with all the Yoshis, shortstop, infield, they can play, and they have okay synergies. Purple Yoshi, widely considered one of the best pitchers in the game. He got nerfed this season. He's still amazing. I mean, he can still do disgusting curve pitches, and if you give him the star, he will still do disgusting pitches. But now while he's still good without the star, you need the star for him to get absolutely disgusting pitches. And of course, that's the cost opportunity. Do you want to have Purple Yoshi with the star and not give it to one of your batters so that, you know, you become a more defensive team? It's honestly your choice, but he is still one of the best players in this game, one of the best pitchers in this game, and if you want a solid pitcher on your roster, you should go with Purple Yoshi. Light Blue Yoshi, very good infielder. His bat is okay. Or outfielder too. I'm only going to put him here because you can justify a lot of characters going into the outfield, and he doesn't have an outfield ability. But solid infielder. He's going to rarely bobble, especially with the increased fielding that he's going to receive. And yeah, never really a bad time, he's not really a terrible pick, but he's not as amazing as these other 5 Yoshis. Oh, and of course, that's going to leave me a Pink Yoshi, who, with the technique buff, has become a more consistent hitter, which is really what they were missing. And what makes Pink Yoshi so good? They are the fastest character in this game. They will sprint around no matter where you put them. They're an amazing outfielder if you want speed as opposed to catching consistency, which for outfield doesn't matter as much. Outfield, you prefer speed over fielding, and for infield, you prefer fielding over speed. So they're a worse infielder, but God, amazing outfielder. And if they hit the ball and get onto base, they are going to sprint to home plate very, very fast. And there's very little people can do about it unless, you know, they stop the batters that come after Pink Yoshi, which, depending on how you build your team, might be too hard to do. And then we get into Toadette. Toadette doesn't really do much. They are just there to bridge the gap of the Toads. And it's the same with Toadsworth. Actually not the same with Toadsworth. But Toadette doesn't have anything that makes them special. We'll probably give her, depending on how they perform this season, and it doesn't matter because they're off the table anyways, being on Akira's team, depending on how they perform this season, they might get a buff for their outfielding, but for the moment, all they do is they kind of just are there to allow you to play more Toads together. By themselves, they don't really do anything. They're an okay hitter, but they are, bad pitcher. No, they're an okay fielder, but pitching-wise, they're not very good. Hitting-wise, they're actually pretty much a liability. Yeah, I'm going to actually put Toadette down. Toadette's not a very good player. Not awful. There's still stuff you can do with them, but even if you have a bunch of Toads, Toadette normally is what breaks the chain and is normally what causes double plays and other, they're normally a double play machine. And Toadsworth, who I was originally going to put in, is okay with help, but I'm going to move him to the B tier because he is actually a much more consistent hitter. His pitching is not the greatest, but he's actually has found more of a niche use by causing overcharging on many players because of how slow his pitch is, to where I'm seeing this more and more. Batters will actually get really bad hits off of Toadsworth despite how easy of a pitch it is to hit. And most of the time he'll get caught out with a buddy jump. So he's really filling this niche, this weird niche of pitchers. I'm not gonna put him any higher because he's not like crazy. He's not a crazy pitcher or a really consistent hitter, but he is good. If you pick up a Toadsworth on your team, I don't think that's going to be an issue at all. Now we get to the Piantas. The Piantas are all kind of the same. They are pretty solid when they choose to hit or charge. They can go for a lot. They're separated by their class, where blue is speed, red is power, and orange is technique. But red doesn't always go for charge hits, and sometimes he'll get caught out. Orange is probably the most interesting because of his star swings. He doesn't have a regular captain star swing, so he just does like a faster ball when he hits it. And blue just goes for slap hits. Like, they're all decent, but none of them I would be like, build your entire team around them unless you love the Piantas, which I do. I think they're great. As for the Nokis, they're also these two are pretty solid. Blue is very consistent at getting on base, same with red for different reasons. Blue will do well-placed slap hits that can most of the time get them onto first base. Red will charge and hit into some weird little corner that you never would have think that Noki would hit it to. Red Noki does not have the power to send it over the wall, but they can do enough to at least secure themselves a base, or at worst a pop fly that only gets one out. Whereas Blue Noki will just consistently get on base, and every once in a while to have a bad hit, but that's anyone. And Green Noki's bad. Green Noki's bad, and I thought it was because, the buffs we did were not enough. And then I realized this last season that, wait, we never buffed Green Noki. So, yeah, that's our bad. We kind of screwed Green Noki over, but... And now we're at the point where there's no balance changes anymore. After this season, 10 will not receive a balance change, 11 is the reset, and will balance change for season 12. Which means, for this season, everyone is kind of going to just be how they are for the next few seasons, and yeah, Green Noki unfortunately will just not receive anything. Sucks for them. And now we go to the babies. Now, I'll talk about the babies in order that I think they are very good in. I think the best one is probably Baby Luigi, who, while he's not the best hitter, he is one of the best infielders in this game. Very good throw speed, very good actual speed, good synergy with a lot of good characters, and like the Yoshis, some of the other babies that can do some good stuff. He's a solid piece. There's a reason he's kind of a mainstay on any defensive team, because he can lock up in outfield. Then I'm going to put Baby DK and Daisy in for the same reason. They're both pretty solid hitters. Every once in a while will score a home run, but for the most part, much like Red Noki, will hit it to some off corner and advance the runners, or worst case, give up a pop fly instead of like a double play. Now, Baby Peach and Mario are not very good. They're not terrible. Baby Peach can do some stuff. She's an okay pitcher, but she doesn't do anything amazingly. But she's not like terrible in any one regard. Baby Mario is again the same way, except he's not a very good pitcher, but he at least has a super dive, so he can do something in the infield where the others can't. Yeah, now we'll move on to the monkeys. Funky Kong is going to be... Honestly, he's just a really good bat. He doesn't do anything else well, but he's a strong batter. That's sometimes all you need in a team. Tiny Kong is okay. Tiny Kong is okay. They don't do anything, like, crazy good, but they'll a lot of time get you on base. Same with Dixie Kong, except Dixie Kong has the advantage of... Wow, this is actually just the same as what I'm realizing with Light Blue Yoshi and Pink Yoshi. Tiny Kong is a better infielder because of quick throw. They can faster get it either to one of the bases, or if you put them in the outfield, give them a faster throw to the infield. Dixie Kong has super jumps, so they are actually able to get higher buddy jumps to catch higher home runs. I don't think you should build your team around either of them, but again, these are very good for filling in the outfield. Paragoomba is just the same thing, basically, just a Goomba version of, like, Dixie Kong. A solid hitter, mostly used for their outfield prowess. And I'll say the same about both of the Koopas, actually, except I'm going to put Gold Para higher because, one, I've seen him play more, and he is much more consistent. He'll more consistently get on base, more consistently do whatever. I'm going to put Green a little lower because, while I think he is still a good batter and good player, we haven't really seen him play a lot. So it's kind of hard to rank him, but I'll put him with Paragoomba because you're going to use him for the same thing. He's going to be your center fielder. Oh, and Koopa the Slick. A fan favorite. Blue Koopa. Second fastest player in the league. But especially compared to everyone on Bowser's team, he is basically just running circles around them. Solid hitter. You're never really gonna complain about having him on your team. But he does need to have, like, a Dry Bones or something else to give him a little boost. But if he gets that little boost, he is going to be playing out of his mind. And then Monty is an amazing slap hitter. He doesn't do too much more than that, but he is very consistent about getting onto base. If he charges, it's a problem, but if he doesn't charge, he will get on base and just be a menace. Wiggler, because of the balance buff, he's become a lot more consistent, and he honestly can even be your power hitter. Just one of his only weakness is his fielding is pretty bad, because a lot of times you will look at him and be like, oh, you're going to catch that pop fly, right? And he won't. Not because he bobbles, just because he doesn't make it there in time, as he has a weird hitbox, but outside of that, his actual hitting, very good. And you kind of only want him, or you kind of only need him for his hitting. His outfield is still solid. You can still throw him out there, but his bat, very good. In a season where good batters are going to be even harder to come by, you do want someone that can hit it out of the park. It's going to be the same thing for the bros. I should have put these up here with Fire Bro. They're just the same. This is just consistent, least consistent, most bipolar, I guess. I guess technically the most consistent. Because he is the least consistent as, oh, he'll either do really... Actually, no, sorry, this is the opposite. This is the least consistent. This is the most consistent. And then Boomerang Bro is weird. Or he will have really bad, really good games. He will have mostly pretty decent games. And Boomerang Bro will kind of just hit the nastiest home run you've ever seen in a game. And then just not really participate for the rest of the match. Again, you won't really have to worry about either of these two. They're already taken, so you kind of just have to get the least consistent one left. But I don't know, he's a captain, so pretty good. Boo. He is one of the best pitchers, in my opinion. I really love uh, how he uses his star pitch a lot of times. He can get a lot of nice outs, and his batting is pretty solid as well. Not as good as some of these other ones, but I don't think Boo is a bad pickup. The only thing that sucks is because of his color, you can only pair him up with the Kongs, Blooper, or the Critters. And so it makes him a little bit more limited because obviously, or not obviously, you can't really pair him up with, the Bones because, well, he doesn't need a me to separate these two. Same with King Boo. And, he can go into the Shy Guys. That's the other thing. His chemistry with the Shy Guys is pretty good, so he technically has a lot of options. Yeah, actually, no, he does have a lot of options with chemistry, but you have to really plan it out, and that's going to be a lot harder in the season when planning out a whole roster is going to be a lot more challenging, because one, we don't know what Luke and Jordy will do. We don't know their tendencies yet, and of course, there are so many more chances that your ideal roster is going to get broken up by just someone else trying to complete theirs. And finally, we get into the Critters. They're all solid. Even though, like, none of them saw play in Season 7, like, they're still good. There's still a good range dive, good power. The problem is that they don't have, the only issue with them is that they don't have, like, chemistry just with their color, but I think what we're going to see coming into this next season is people are going to really want Critters because there's a higher demand for everything. You want a good pitcher, you want good infield, you want good hitters, and that's going to be very tough to achieve. And I think when we were at the 8-player kind of league, it was a lot easier to be like, oh, I don't need a critter because there's so much good infield now. There's so many good power hitters in this game that I don't need to pick up any of the critters or use them. But I think that's really going to change, so I'm still going to put them in A, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, about an hour for both videos, so I guess, have fun watching them. And yeah, I'm officially done with everything I need to do for draft day. Ooh, hell yeah. But yeah, again, my opinion, if you have any questions, absolutely let me know. I'm going to start actually letting people know about, draft day this Wednesday. But yeah, I'm going to go get this uploaded. And again, good luck to all. See y'all.